At just 2 years old, Jake's world changed forever when his mother collapsed on the family staircase, her life hanging by a thread as a devastating stroke stole away the woman she once was. The sound of her body hitting each step echoed through their home like thunder, but it was the silence that followed, the deafening quiet of a family's future being rewritten in an instant, that would haunt them for years to come. When the doctors said she might not survive, Jake's father, only 26 years old himself, made a choice that would define the next 2 decades of their lives. While other young men his age were building careers and chasing dreams, he became a full-time caregiver to the love of his life. Now trapped in a body that could no longer fully express the brilliant mind still flickering inside, the brain damage was severe. The disability permanent. But love, Jake's father believed, wasn't conditional on convenience. For 18 years, Jake watched his father perform daily miracles of patience and devotion. Feeding tubes, medications, physical therapy, sleepless nights, all handled with the gentle tenderness of a man who saw his beloved wife in every labored breath she took. He hired specialist nurses only when absolutely necessary, using every spare dollar to ensure his 3 children, Jake and his older siblings, Emma and Marcus, could still have a childhood while their mother fought her daily battles just to exist. Jake had no memory of his mother before the stroke, but he knew her through his father's unwavering dedication. She was the woman worth sacrificing everything for. She was love made visible through countless small acts of service that most people would never see or understand, but his father's parents saw it differently. To them, their son had become a fool, throwing away his prime years on a woman who wasn't really there anymore. The fights were legendary, shouting matches that shook the house while young children hid upstairs. Listening to their grandfather call their mother dead weight and a burden no man should carry, divorce her and start over, they demanded repeatedly. Find someone who can actually be a wife and mother. When Jake's father refused, they escalated their cruelty, secretly arranging blind dates and showing up with suitable women who could give him a real family. The children were shielded from the worst of it until they came of age. Then the grandparents began their targeted campaign of poison. Reaching out individually to each grandchild as they turned 18, filling their ears with venom about their wasted father and their mother who wouldn't even know if she died alone. Jake's siblings had warned him what was coming. When the calls started on his 18th birthday, he was ready. Dad is more loyal than you apparently, he'd shot back, and doesn't just discard people like trash. The calls stopped quickly after that response, but recently, at a family gathering at his aunt's house, the grandparents launched their most vicious attack yet. With their daughter-in-law absent and vulnerable, they unleashed decades of bottled resentment, calling her a waste of space and declaring their son's devotion pathetic and misguided. Jake's aunt, their own daughter, finally snapped, ordering them to leave her house immediately. But as they were being escorted out, still spewing their hatred, Jake's 18 years of rage exploded. You deserve to be abandoned in a nursing home and left to die alone too, he shouted after them, his voice cracking with fury and pain. Since you think mom deserves that, how would you like it? The silence that followed was deafening. His uncle quietly suggested Jake had stooped to their level. But Jake's words had cut deep, perhaps too deep. The grandparents began harassing other family members, demanding apologies and playing victim to anyone who would listen. Now, lying awake at night, Jake wrestles with a question that has no easy answer. In defending his mother's dignity and his father's sacrifice, had he become as cruel as the people he despised? Sometimes the line between justice and revenge is thinner than we'd like to admit. Sometimes protecting the people we love requires us to use words as weapons, but when faced with a lifetime of watching bullies attack the most vulnerable person in his world, what else could a son do? What do you think? Was Jake right to fight fire with fire, or did he cross a line that shouldn't be crossed? Have you ever had to choose between keeping the peace and defending someone you love? Share your thoughts. Sometimes the hardest battles are fought within our own families.